guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for The Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 10, Inmates. And let me just tell you guys, this was by far my favorite episode of the season. I know I said that the finale was, and I know I said last week's episode was really, really good. I felt this episode was a step bigger than that. This episode was bigger. It was a step up from that because the way that this episode was done, I thought was definitely really cool and also a very risky choice. The way this episode is done is it's 4 separate plots, but it's like you do one plot, go to a commercial, go to the next plot, go to a commercial, go to the next plot. I like the way that was done because we got enough story from each of the plots. You can't say, oh, this story didn't get enough time, this story got more time than this one. No, each one got their own amount of time, and I was happy with that. I was definitely very happy that each one got their own amount of time, and I absolutely love this episode. By the way, guys, if you guys don't know, I'm currently in a uploading contest with the Shameism channel. He's one of my YouTube friends, great YouTuber, by the way. And since we both review The Walking Dead, we're seeing who can upload this faster. So hopefully I win. So Nick, don't upload your video yet, because I'm gonna win so far. Okay, so let's just get to this episode. So the episode actually began with Daryl and Beth. For a while, I thought that's what this episode was going to be, Daryl and Beth, because we saw a lot of Daryl and Beth, but it turned out there was more than that. We see Daryl and Beth. Beth is reading this, we hear this voiceover, Beth. She's basically talking about the prison, how she felt safe there, and how she initially felt like she was finally in a safe haven, and somewhere where she could finally unwind and everything. She talks about Herschel and everything, but as this is happening, we see them running in the forest away from a bunch of walkers. Daryl's fighting off all these walkers, shooting one in the head with his crossbow, pulls out the bolt, continues running with Beth. Beth and Daryl start running through tall grass out of the forest and both fall down and lay on the ground exhausted. So then they're at a fire, and Beth says they should do something and that they are not the only survivors. She believes that the others could have made it out of the prison, and Daryl sits there quietly. Beth tells him that he is a tracker and he can find them, and Daryl doesn't answer, and Beth goes off saying she will track them on her own. Daryl puts out their fire, falls behind. It's now morning. Daryl finds some footprints. He believes they are 5 hours old. Beth and Daryl are walking through the forest. Daryl notices that whoever they are following got out in a hurry. Beth finds some berries, starts collecting them. Daryl hands her a bandana to hold them in. Daryl and Beth find 2 walkers on the ground not moving, and Daryl says that there is human blood. He picks up a crossbow and tells Beth to arrive. They arrive at a train track, and near the train track, the walkers are eating people, and Daryl just goes around killing them all, and Beth is crying. And you know what, guys? I actually did not like Beth as a character. I thought she just whines a lot and complains a lot. But this episode, I really sympathize for her, because think about it, she just lost her father. The one thing that really meant something to her, she lost her father, and she's really grieving about it. The one thing that I do kind of like is Daryl and Beth. I like Daryl and Carol, but for seeing Daryl and Beth, I don't want them to get together or anything. I'd like them to just be really good allies and friends. I think they're good friends, and I think Daryl compliments Beth nicely, and I think they're good friends, definitely. I'd like to see more of that friend. I would like to see more of that friendship, and I'd like to see more connection between the two of them because I don't think I don't know if they've had a lot of scenes together. I think not this season, at least. This is the first time they've had a lot of scenes together this season, and I really enjoyed that a lot. I thought that was really good. So, then we see, so after this was basically the end of Daryl and Beth. So after this we see, probably my favorite part of the episode was Tyreese, Judith, Lizzie, and Micah. That was my favorite part of this episode, was when we got to meet what's going on with them. So we see Tyreese. He has baby Judith with him. Tyreese is mending one of the wounds. Judith starts crying. Tyreese does his best to quiet her. Lizzie gives him a bottle. He gives it to her. Walkers arrive. Tyreese tells the kids to follow him, and it's all okay. Definitely we have seen Lizzie. She's a lot more mature now. She's definitely done what Carol told her to do, be strong and everything. And we started to see that in the finale, but even more, she's still very mature now. And she's doing what Carol told her to do, which was, she's doing what Carol told her to do. So Tyreese tells the kids to follow him, and it's all okay. Tyreese finds some berries, and the girls decide to eat some of them. Tyreese is trying his best to deal with Judith, but she keeps crying, and, I know Judith was a baby, but shut up! Because the walkers were approaching them, and he's changing Judith's diaper. Now, this is where we know Judith is alive, which I knew Judith was alive. I didn't think she was dead. Really, would they really kill off baby Judith? Are they really that heartless? No. It's proving right now that they are not. Sorry, that was the laundry room. That was really weird. She keeps crying. Tyreese is changing her diaper, and Tyreese takes out his hammer. A bunch of crows come out. Micah runs into the forest, terrified. Tyreese chases after her. Micah says she got scared, and Tyreese says the best thing to do is to run from the walker, but in a group she should stick with the others. Tyreese hands the baby over to Lizzie, tells him to look in both directions. He hears screaming and decides to go help. Tyreese tells him to run if they see a walker. Micah says she doesn't want him to help to go. Tyreese tells them it's okay and that they can handle it if he runs off into the forest. Now right here, I thought Tyreese was being a very good role model of them, but I'm also saying, Tyreese, why'd you just leave these kids all by themselves? It really was not a good idea at all, and that's what he decides to do. He leaves them all by themselves. But not for long, because there is someone there that we don't know, and I'll get to that in a second, because that was probably my favorite part of the episode. But I gotta say, I really liked Tyreese in this episode. I liked seeing this fatherly figure side of Tyreese. He definitely was very fatherly to them. He was a lot like he wasn't just like an alpha. He was more like their father in this episode, and I really enjoyed that. Especially the baby Judith. Definitely really enjoyed that. And I think definitely further down the road, if Tyreese ever does have children, it implies that he's going to be a really great father, because definitely in that scene he really was very fatherly toward them, and I really love that about his character in this episode. That was really a great character choice. So now Lizzie and Micah, they're basically trying to do whatever they can to just get Judith to shut up so the walkers don't approach them. Lizzie even puts a hand on her mouth and walkers come out. People are being eaten by walkers. Tyreese is doing his best to kill the walkers. Lizzie has her hand over Judith's mouth. Micah shoots a walker. Tyreese hears a gunshot and panics. The people he tried to save get bit by walkers. And then we see someone come back, and who's back? Carol is back. Carol comes back in this episode, and I was so happy. I'm like, oh my god, it's Carol. I was so happy that she came back, because she arrives at the scene with both Lizzie, Micah, and Judith, and there's a guy bitten by walkers. He falls down in pain. Carol is told to stay by the tracks, was his mistake, but says there is place safe up the tracks to take the kids. They leave the man crying. Micah says to Tyreese that she didn't run, but he tells her she's a tough lady, and Carol has a backpack full of water and food for the kids. Tyreese says he never saw her get out. Carol mentions she wasn't there and says that she was actually looking for supplies. That's where she was this whole time. She was out looking for supplies. We know that because her and, Rick were, I don't remember, what happened exactly, but we know he abandoned her and everything. And Carol mentions seeing the end and followed them into the woods. Tyreese says that they can circle back to find the car, and Carol says that there is no way. So right now, Tyreese is actually, Tyreese still does not know that Carol killed Karen and David. Tyreese still has no idea about that. So, definitely this is going to be interesting to see how this works out with Tyreese and Carol, because, again, he does not know she killed Karen and David, which she did. He just does not know that yet. So this was it for Tyreese and Carol. Oh, we did see this one guy, though, who told them to trust him and everything, but they left him behind. I kind of have this feeling that he could have possibly become the new governor, but I guess he was just a minor character, because they kind of just left him behind. I'm like, okay, I thought they were actually going to follow him. I'm like, okay, this is going to be the guy who becomes the new governor, but I guess it's kind of too early to decide that right now, so I guess we'll just have to see what happens with that. But yeah, that's what happened with that plot, which was by far my favorite part of the episode. I think that was definitely my favorite part. Next, we saw Maggie and Bob and Sasha. So Maggie's scraping a knife while Sasha is taking care of Bob's wounds. And Maggie says she's going to find Glenn. Now, by the way, she was scraping the knife on the rock because that makes it sharper. Sasha says they can't split up. Maggie says she's going. So Bob goes ahead and follows Maggie. The three are now walking down the road for the bus. Glenn was on. And the whole thing is, where is Glenn? We don't know where Glenn is at this point. Sasha says they should be looking for food and shelter. Bob asks what they'll do after. Sasha doesn't know. Bob says that he's down with finding others first. Maggie finds a bus on the road, starts rushing toward it. Inside are walkers. They are all throwing their arms out of the windows. This was an awesome scene, by the way. You know, the scene with the walkers on the bus. This was awesome. Maggie tells the others to go, goes to open the bus door. Bob says they should do it smart and go one at a time. Bob and Sasha work the door to let it on at a timeout. Maggie stabs the first one right. Another drops out and gets a knife in the face. Another drops out, gets a knife in the face. Number 3 goes down as well. The door's thrown open. All the walkers come out. Maggie's just watching, and Bob and Sasha kill them all. So then Maggie gets on a bus. And there's the laundry room again. I'm sorry, this thing goes off like 3 times. You're probably going to hear it again in this video. It is totally out of my control, and I'm sorry. That's unprofessional of me. So Maggie gets on the bus now after all the walkers. Maggie finds a walker on the ground struggling to get up, and Maggie lets it free and then stabs it in the head. And the one thing is, where is Glenn? He's not on the bus. Where is Glenn? Glenn is now still in the prison. He's yelling for Maggie. Now, I don't know why he got back in the prison, because he was on that bus. We saw in the finale, Glenn was on that bus. We don't know why he's not there, what's going on, but we find out after this. Glenn then opens the door behind him, in the dark, and this was just such an intense scene. I thought the Glenn stuff was really good, very good, because each time we got to a different plot, it was more intense than the last one. Even though the Tyreese and Carol one was my favorite, I think definitely this was the most intense. Glenn is starting to check inside the cells, goes to bed, pulls out some heavy assault armor. Glenn then lays on the bed, sees a picture of Maggie on his table. He holds the picture, cries. Glenn starts searching the room for more things to bring with him, goes out with his full body armor and runs through all the walkers. He then finds Tara sitting all by herself, so Tara's still alive. We don't know where Lily is, but we know that Tara is still alive. And he tells her that her clipster is full. He tells her that they should go. She does not answer him. She tells Glenn she was part of the invasion, and he says he knows but needs her help. Glenn tells her to take the gun. He makes a Molotov cocktail and throwing it in a car to attract the walkers. Glenn tells her to stay close and that he can only try his best to cover her. The two start running, shooting the walkers in their path. The two get away from the prison and are walking down the road. And she couldn't believe seeing the governor, killing an old man, because as we know, Lily and Tara trusted the governor. And she was just very surprised. She still thinks his name is Brian, even. She really believed him. Glenn asks if it was Herschel. She says yes, she is sorry. She explains that the governor told them that the people at the prison were bad people. And Glenn says he doesn't want her help, but he needs it. He needs to find Maggie. Glenn explains she is actually his wife, which is not true. I know that we're engaged, but I don't think she's actually his wife. I think it was really sweet that he thinks of her that way, but she's not actually his wife. He got off the bus to help her, but she didn't see him. Glenn explains that Herschel was her father. All he said was to believe. Glenn says Maggie got out. She's going to help him find her. Glenn takes a knife, stabs the walkers in the face. The girl joins, and Tara joins in, helps him kill them. Glenn goes down, and he's not waking up for some reason. She's trying to help him. A walker comes out, then smashes in the head with a rifle, and a bunch of guys get out of the truck and ask what else they have. Now, these people that got out of the truck are very, very important. Now, I don't remember. Now, let me just look up the names of them, because they're extremely important. I know one of their names is Rosita. I know that. So, yeah. So, we have three new characters now. I don't remember their names, but they're very, very important, and we're going to see more of them next week. We're going to find out more about them, and it's going to be interesting to see what they have. Now, I'm going to say I love this episode. I loved every single minute of this episode. I thought, the storytelling was just really good. The way they did this episode was very different from other episodes, definitely. I definitely enjoyed that a lot, and I thought it was definitely a very good way to do this episode, because I didn't really expect them to go in the direction they went in. 4 different storylines, each going plot, 4 different storylines, but by, the commercial went, then it go to the next one, then it go to the next one, then it go to the next one, finally stopping at Glenn's. Now, my favorite part was Carol. Now, let me know what you guys thought of this episode. Oh, this new group, what's going to happen with them? Do you think we can trust them? Can we not trust them? What's going to happen there? Will the other groups, will they meet up with the other groups? I really hope they do. I was thinking they were going to intertwine this episode, but I guess it's a little too early. Should Tyreese trust Carol at this point? I'm really not sure. I mean, Carol did what she thought was right, but is Tyreese going to find out what Carol did? I'm sure he will eventually, but not right now. Is there anything else? Oh, did you like how fatherly Tyreese was to Lizzie? I enjoyed that a lot. I thought, that was definitely one of my favorite parts of the episode. That's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.